First thing I want to talk about is a theory that I crafted myself, which basically means that if this comes out to be true, right, the Chasm isn't out for like another 4 days. If what I'm about to say ends up happening, that means MiHoYo sleeper agents are at the ready in my chat right now at twitch.tv/murderofbirds. They're going to steal my idea and implement this into the game probably a year from now. And then we can say that we implemented this into Genshin Impact. So I'm very excited for the Chasm more than anything, more than Ayato, more than all of the other minor mini games, because of the lore implications. Dainsleif is coming back. MiHoYo has already confirmed that Conria lore will be a factor, right? There's a ruined serpent down there. We know that those are the machines and weaponry of Conria. And the most exciting thing about all of this is that there is an upside down underground floating city.
A whole city that's floating in the air, upside down?
Enkanomiya kind of gave us the drop that Celestia isn't of this world. There was a world before Celestia, right? Phanis, the primordial 7 sovereign dragon lords. But I started thinking, and I started thinking very early on. I went back and I read Before Sun and Moon, and I read the passage that talks about the world being changed in some way, shape, or form after Phanis was confronted by the second who came. And there was like this big battle. Enkanomiya got caught in the crossfires, and they were like torn asunder from the earth and plunged into the depths and then sealed off. And we know that like the heavens collapsed, the earth was ripped asunder, and the world seemingly changed from how it originally was when the second, presumably Celestia, came in and took over. Now, if you go back into the trailer, there is a scene, the very last scene of the trailer, where you see like a giant light explosion that the Abyss Lector was like channeling, and Dainsleif and the Hilly Churls and the Husk enemies were like affected by it. If you take that shot and you turn it upside down and you get this image right here. Now, look at this right here. This looks like a statue that is very similar to the statues in Enkanomiya, the ones that have those goblets or those chalices, but they don't have anything in them. These look like they have something in them. They have like the same kind of robe aesthetic, and this is upside down. So you see the shot normally, right? Dainsleif and the Traveler are like at the very top right here. This is because I took the image and I flipped it over. So this is what it looks like normally. It looks like, see, you see the stairs right here, you see the pillars, you see the statues upright, you see like this reservoir of water with this channeling beam that's shooting up, but because it's flipped over, it's shooting down. I think originally this city was a part of Enkanomiya in the beginning of Phanis' rule, right? And I said it here too, right? I said, I think the Chasm's upside down city was part of Enkanomiya, and then Enkanomiya got split off from the world and sank to the bottom of the depths. That's how it originally was. But then when Phanis got into war with the second who came, Enkanomiya was cracked off, sunk to the bottom, which is why Enkanomiya isn't upside down. But because of that war, because of that fight, right, the heavens collapsed, the earth was rent asunder, Teyvat, the world itself, literally flipped upside down. And I'm not saying that the world is flat. What I'm basically saying is that the world of Teyvat is like a glacier. What we're experiencing, the world that we live in, was once upside down compared to what is now upside down, if that makes sense. And that would kind of make sense why Scaramouche is like, the sky is a lie or whatever, because what's the #1 phrase that we hear more of than anything? Ad astra abyssos, which implies ascending into the depths of the abyss. It's kind of contradictory. So when you're going down into the abyss, but the world is upside down, you're technically going up, but the world's upside down, so you're going down. I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's kind of like what I've led myself to believe. Another thing that's weird is like when you go into the spiral abyss, you're supposed to be descending, but as you descend, you see shit like the sky and the moon and all this other random shit that's like, if I'm going down, how is there a sky underground? I think the Chasm's upside down city is part of Enkanomiya before it sank and was the original civilization during Phanis' rule, but during its war with the second who came, where heaven collapsed and the earth was rent asunder, the world literally flipped upside down to be the Teyvat that we now know. And if that happens and that's true, MiHoYo, you literally came into my stream on March 27th, 2022 and stole my idea, and and I will see you in court. Clip it and ship it, ladies and gentlemen.
The next day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another Genshin Impact video. This is the first time that I'm going to be doing something like this on the channel as well, similar to what I've done for character reactions as well as the version update reactions. I am going to start putting a lot of this news information and update content out as soon as possible. Let's check out the patch notes now, because this is like the interesting stuff, like any quality of life or things that they might not have mentioned in the live stream. New domain, so we're gonna have the Lost Valley. The ancient ritual grounds were buried beneath the earth amidst a cataclysm that tore heaven and earth asunder. They're talking about Before Sun and Moon? This right here is in the book, Before Sun and Moon. The war, the cataclysm that tore heaven and earth asunder was between Phanis and the second who came. Does that mean... Dude, does that mean my theory might actually be true? That the chasm is a part of Enkonomiya and the world got turned upside down? And ancient ritual grounds were buried beneath the earth amidst a cataclysm that tore heaven and earth asunder before being uplifted by the descent of an alien object and finally unveiled by a destructive battle that resulted from a betrayal. Nevertheless, those who once frequented this place are no more. Holy fuck. Oh my God. I called it! I might have just called it, dude. MiHoYo, I want my fucking royalties in the mail. I'm sick and tired of you and your freaking sleeper agents coming into my stream for the last year and a half, stealing my ideas and not giving me credit. I'm the freaking unsung ghostwriter of this game, and I have the receipts to prove it, and I will prove it someday. I'll see you in court. MiHoYo's really out here freaking stealing my ideas. This domain, which is apparently found in the chasm, I assume, was buried beneath the earth amidst the chasm. Like, this is referring specifically to that war, and it's mentioning an alien object, which I assume that alien object is the Skyfrost nail, right? The Celestia pillar, the one that we saw that affected Dragonspine, the one that we know affected Surumi Island, and the one that I theorized during the 2.5 live stream before it even went live that there has to be one there as well, because the promotional art mentioned, or the concept art of the chasm mentioned millennia ago, a giant celestial body crash landed there, and I was like, oh, imagine it was a pillar, and we ended up being right about that. I'm like more excited for the chasm just getting a new area more than anything. I think that's like my #1 most anticipated aspect, is just exploring a new region that's heavily engrossed in the lore of the game. I also have theorized myself that I wonder if one of the frost nails of Celestia might have fallen into the chasm, because in the concept art, it says that a millennia ago, a giant celestial body had fallen into where the chasm is. And we've noticed in the past, right, from Dragonspine, Surumi Island, that leyline distortions happen in areas that have been affected by those giant pillars, right? That's why leyline overflows don't go to Dragonspine. That's why they don't go to Surumi Island. And if they don't bleed into the chasm from Liyue, that's evidence as well as any type of weather condition. So Dragonspine, it's perpetually winter there. Surumi Island had the whole fog situation before we fixed it. So if there's any type of environmental weathering condition, that's another bit of evidence that could suggest the same as well. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna slow motion this real quick. Give me a second. We're gonna slow motion this. We're gonna go half speed. That is a pillar of Celestia right there, which all but confirms the third pillar landed here. So one landed in Dragonspine, one landed in Surumi Island, and one landed in the chasm. I don't know if they're channeling that power through whatever this is. One pillar per country? No. So 3 pillars landed. One landed in Dragonspine, one landed on Surumi, and we don't know where the third one landed until now. Why? We don't know. Where is the one on Surumi? We can't find it. Like, you can't see it. It must be like underwater or underground. We know that it's there because of the leyline distortion there. That's one of the effects of these pillars. They affect the leyline distortions, which is why Dragonspine doesn't have leylines, Surumi Island doesn't have leylines, and I guarantee you the chasm will not have leylines. So yeah, I'm like incredibly excited for the chasm more than ever. Like, I don't even care if we don't get the Dainsleif quest immediately. I just want to explore this place. I want to figure out what the fuck's going on. I actually need to see this location for myself in game with a fucking camera, and I gotta like turn my head upside down to see if these are actually like Enkonomiya architecture or Byakuya Koku architecture or whatever the case might be, because this has like huge implications for the future of the game. And like if this is true, again, it reinforces the fact that Ad Astra Abyssosque is kind of a contradiction, because how do you ascend to the stars and the depths? Unless if you're upside down and you're technically ascending downward. So when you go down, you're technically going up, which is why in the Spiral Abyss, as you go down the depths, you see like the sky and the fucking moon and shit. And it's like, how is this possible? And if I'm wrong, I'll take the fattest L ever, but I actually think I'm right. That's why Scaramouche says like, oh, the sky is a lie. The false sky narrative is a thing.